Hello everybody, thought I would hop on in here and do an early morning video. I just got out of the gym, so sticking to my goals for physical fitness this week. And as I was on the elliptical, I was reading some of the comments in the feed, and I felt like, there's kind of a common thread and or theme coming up here, which is how do I keep moving forward when doubt and fear creeps in, more or less, right? And so I feel my feelings with the intention to really let them move through me. And when I'm experiencing doubt, either in myself or my ability to be in relationships, it kind of sounds like this. So I don't know if this whole dating thing is worth it. Partners always seem to like me more than I like them. And as a result, they demand more than I want to give. And so it feels like disrespect and invasion. On the rare occasion I do like someone more, they always seem to be unavailable, and I'm the one left feeling vulnerable and weak. I worry that I've lost access to my romanticism, and I'm also not 100% convinced of the benefits of a committed relationship in general. So if I know how to do it for myself, then I tend to feel that a partner will just disrupt my routine and equilibrium, that they'll be jealous of the time and attention that I have to give my son, and not really understand my priorities as I build my business. And so as a result, I kind of struggle to see what a partner could possibly bring to my life. And it's much easier for me to see what a partner could potentially take away. And it's really just not worth the sacrifice. Now, luckily, I know better than to believe every single thing that crosses my mind, right? So I do have enough consciousness to recognize that I have desires for a connection and a relationship that could contribute to my life in very specific ways. So then I go through a process of examining my thought patterns and ask myself about the validity of each belief that I am, allowing my fear to perpetuate. And I have to ask myself, is it true? So for the benefit, this is something that I actually do and have done recently on my own path. So I'm going to break down basically the limiting beliefs that I just shared with you. So the first thing I said was, I don't know if this whole dating thing is worth it. Partners always like me more than I like them, and as a result, they demand more than I want to give, and so it feels like disrespect and invasion. Well, dating, or at least going out and meeting new people, is really the only way to exercise my social skills and strengthen my resiliency, as well as my confidence in my ability to be in social situations, let alone relationships. If a partner does like me more than I like them, the onus is really on them to manage their feelings, not me. I don't owe somebody something because they like me. And so that feeling of disrespect or invasion or being smothered, that's another term I've heard a lot, actually occurs when I have abandoned myself to people-pleasing because of a fear of anger and conflict that arises in the past when I've witnessed partners from my past, or even my parents, not getting what they want, right? They sort of throw an adult tantrum. That's on them, that's not on me. It's not my job to abandon myself to please them so I don't have to suffer their tantrum, right? But that causes more problems, right? Because it sends a mixed signal when I step into that people-pleasing role. So I'm leading people to think I believe and or feel something that I don't because I just want to avoid the conflict. So it's really up to me to state and hold my boundaries and express when I'm just not that into someone. And it's up to them how they respond to it, right? And if they want to continue to see me within the guidelines that I've established. If they don't, they don't, and they go. And that's better for them and better for me. And that doesn't make me avoidant. It just makes me knowledgeable of my boundaries. It makes me understanding of what is my responsibility and what's someone else's responsibility. And it's really a blessing to meet people who remind me of my attractiveness and my appeal, but also challenge me to have and to hold better boundaries, right? And in that instance, I'm a blessing to them, reminding them of the responsibility that they have to take for their feelings, right? Now, the other thing I said was, on the rare occasion that I do like someone more, they're always unavailable, and I'm left feeling vulnerable and weak. Well, if I persist with the story that partners that I'm attracted to are always unavailable, I'll continue to attract unavailable partners, right? There have been instances where there was mutual affection, but because they have ended badly or with hurt feelings or not the way that I necessarily wanted it to, I categorize those partners as having abandoned me or not having been as interested. But that's a distorted perception, and it's distorted by a preoccupation that I have had with outcomes, when truly there's really no such thing as happily ever after, because all of life is continuously flowing and expanding and in process. So from this perspective, I do actually know what it is to experience mutual affection, even if it was temporary, right? So through the law of attraction, if I can focus on the joy of that feeling of alignment, and I can blur the details of the specifics, right, like who it was and what the circumstances were, I can call in partners with whom there's a greater balance of affection, and ideally for a longer period of time, right? And I accomplish this by falling in love with myself and being in greater alignment with myself first. Now, another thing I said was, I worry I have lost access to my romanticism. What I have thought of as romanticism was actually fantasy and idealism. So it didn't put me in greater touch with my loving feelings. It actually prevented me from fully seeing and loving my partners for who and what they were. And so it also kept me clinging to partnerships for the potential that I saw in them, not for the actual experience of the relationship. And so when I didn't get what I wanted, I would throw those adult tantrums and ultimately sort of punish them through game playing and manipulation, right? That's not romanticism. That's being annoyed when the idealization and the fantasy isn't measured up, right? Now, the last thing I said was, I'm not 100% convinced of the benefit of committed relationships in general. If I know how to do it for myself, a partner will just disrupt my routine and equilibrium. A partner will be jealous of the time and attention I give my son and not understand my priorities. I struggle to see what a partner could possibly bring to my life. I only see what they would take away, and it's not worth the sacrifice. So at the basis of this, you can see that my fear is becoming too dependent on a partner and then that partner leaving me. And so they would throw me off and I wouldn't be able to take care of myself anymore because I will have become too dependent on someone, right? So in that instance, I'm really just questioning my own strength. And so that has to do with bringing myself into further alignment with myself and surrendering to the knowledge that I am strong enough, right? I'm strong enough to be in a relationship and I'm strong enough to be out without. But they don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? Being strong enough without doesn't mean that I couldn't possibly be strong enough within. And to be honest, this is probably the one that I struggle the most with and that I am still in process with. So for me, the best example I have of what it could be contributed to my life in a relationship is kind of a blend of the positive attributes from my ex-husband and my last boyfriend. So my ex-husband is very, very good in a crisis. He was an emergency room doctor and later became a psychiatrist. He's a really good provider and he's a wonderful father to our son. He's very steady dispositionally and we continue to be good friends even though we're not married anymore. My ex-boyfriend was creative and playful and funny and the sex was beyond amazing. We had the ability to really get inside each other's fantasies without much verbal communication and tended to act them out seamlessly. Now, the intellectual connection was also very strong, and so we'd spend a lot of hours brainstorming the plots and characters for his screenplays, and he'd read my manuscripts, providing meticulous notes, and I never felt burdened by the time I spent with him. But he never really wanted to step into the reality of my life. There was an invitation to join him in his, but there was always a hesitancy to really step into what it was to live my life, and he wasn't very emotionally consistent, and that relationship did not end well. So what I take away from this is that I know having a steady partner that shows up for both the imaginative and the more difficult aspects of my life could be a benefit, as well as a pleasurable experience. I know that I feel nourished by good sexual chemistry and intellectual stimulation. Playfulness is crucial to stimulating feelings of passion for me, and if those things are present, they will contribute to, rather than detract from my career and the projects that I have going on. And I don't need to be challenged or supported, but rather met where I'm at with a partner that is equally ambitious and what I prefer to think of as explorative. And so I believe that challenge and support just kind of ebbs and flows as offshoots of our ability to self-reflect and maintain a sense of individual efficacy while together. And so we accomplish this by being truthful with ourselves and then with each other, and by respecting the other's responsibility and authority to manage their own feelings. Okay? So if this resonates with you or more doubtful thoughts come up, I'd love to see them in the comments below. And if you'd like to learn more about my online course on healing attachment wounds with mindfulness and creative arts therapies, I invite you to check out a link in the caption of this video. This is a course that offers 7 creative, fun, easy lessons over the course of 7 weeks, and it takes you from feeling lost and confused about your romantic relationship to stepping into your fullest and most sovereign self without having to talk in circles around your feelings for hours or even years on end with no tangible result. And if you check out the sales page, you'll find some testimonials from people who have taken the course. So comment below, like, subscribe, let me know if you also go through these kinds of, focus circles or thought processes and how you're able to reframe your fears and doubts.